Welcome everyone to today's workbook discussion on Zoom. Welcome also to all who join us later by watching or listening to this recording. I'm Laura Fenimore, the Chief Development Officer and Volunteer Coordinator with the Foundation for Inner Peace, the scribe authorized publisher of A Course in Miracles. We really appreciate your partnership with the Foundation. And if you want to learn more about the Foundation or A Course in Miracles, please visit acim.org. If you feel inspired to make a love offering, please visit acim.org, and at the top of the page, you will find the word donate. All donations support the work of the Foundation. Each session will be delving into a discussion of the workbook lessons in A Course in Miracles, led by a moderator team of volunteers that work with the Foundation. What does discussion mean? In our gatherings here, we welcome the Holy Spirit to join us. Through this presence, our meeting becomes a joining of equals to commune with the Holy Spirit's guidance to experience miracles together. Some of the moderators here also support our social media channels, and if you'd like a list of FIP resources, please email support@acim.org, and we'll be happy to share the resource list with you. Now let's begin our discussion.
Hey, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Maggie. I am a volunteer with the Foundation for Inner Peace, and I am the facilitator for today's meeting. So we're going to pick up our workbook discussion where we left off last time. We were in lesson 76, but before we get to that, we are going to take a moment to just quiet our minds together. And so if you'd like, I welcome you to sit back in your chair and close your eyes if that is comfortable for you. Let yourself take some slow, deep breaths at your own pace. Centering in, finding that place within. You can think of this as the quiet center that the Course speaks to us of. And remembering that that space is always there, waiting for you, always available. When you feel you're there, you can let yourself really settle in. I'm going to read something brief from the text, from the section titled, I Need Do Nothing. To do nothing is to rest and make a place within you where the activity of the body ceases to demand attention. Into this place, the Holy Spirit comes and there abides. He will remain when you forget, and the body's activities return to occupy your conscious mind. Yet there will always be this place of rest to which you can return. And you will be more aware of this quiet center of the storm than all its raging activity. This quiet center in which you do nothing will remain with you, giving you rest in the midst of every busy doing on which you are sent. For from this center will you be directed how to use the body sinlessly. Take another couple breaths in this space. And before you do return to a busy doing of being in this meeting together, I'm going to read the truly helpful prayer just to help set our intention, remind us of what we are here to do. And modified for pronouns. We are here only to be truly helpful. We are here to represent him who sent us. We do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because he who sent us will direct us. We are content to be wherever he wishes, knowing he goes there with us. We will be healed as we let him teach us to heal. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. You can rejoin the space. Look around the Zoom squares at your mighty companions. And remember that that space is still there waiting for once our meeting is done as well. We did leave off last week with lesson 76. Near the end, we've got just a couple paragraphs left. And so I am going to share screen in just a moment here. And I thought in order to help us just reorient and finish this lesson up, I'm going to read just a few of the paragraphs that were earlier. And then we will go over the final two paragraphs together if there's anything anyone would like to discuss. And depending on where we make it in time, we may or may not move on to that next lesson. So let me share screen. Okay, so lesson 76. I am under no laws but God's. This lesson began. We have observed before how many senseless things have seemed to you to be salvation. Each has imprisoned you with laws as senseless as itself. You are not bound by them. Yet to understand that this is so, you must first realize salvation lies not there. While you would seek for it in things that have no meaning, you bind yourself to laws that make no sense. Thus do you seek to prove salvation is where it is not. And today we will be glad you cannot prove it. And I'm going to scroll down just a little bit. There are no laws except the laws of God. This needs repeating over and over until you realize it applies to everything that you have made in opposition to God's will. Your magic has no meaning. What it is meant to save does not exist. Only what it is meant to hide will save you. The laws of God can never be replaced. We will devote today to rejoicing that this is so. It is no longer a truth that we would hide. We realize instead it is a truth that keeps us free forever. Magic imprisons, but the laws of God make free. The light has come because there are no laws but His. And we had some instructions about how to practice for that particular day. And we left off reading this paragraph last time. Hear him who tells you this, and realize how foolish are the laws you thought upheld the world you thought you saw. Then listen further. He will tell you more about the love your Father has for you, about the endless joy He offers you, about His yearning for His only Son, created as His channel for creation, denied to Him by His belief in hell. And so we pick up our discussion today with paragraph 11. And would anyone like to volunteer to read paragraph 11 for us? Let's see here. Oh, Bill. I saw Bill's hand go up. Bill, you can go ahead and read paragraph 11. Thank you.
Okay, bless. I hope we don't get off this. I hope we stay on this one because I'm so happy that we got to review this. Thank you so much, Maggie, for reviewing those key points. And honestly, I forgot them all week. I've still been reciting my last lessons, but I forgot the points of this lesson. So I'm hoping I'll have all week this week to work on this without thinking of the next. But the Most High will determine, and there might not be something I need to do. We'll do it perfectly. Number 11. Let us today open God's channels to him and let his will extend through us to him. Thus is creation endlessly increased. His voice will speak to you, to us, as well as the joys of heaven, which his laws keep limitless forever. We will repeat today's idea until we have listened and understood that there are no laws but God's. Then we will tell ourselves, as a declaration with which the practice period concludes, I am under no laws but God's. We will repeat this dedication as often as possible today, at least 4 to 5 times an hour. That's every 10 minutes, as well as in response to any temptation to experience ourselves as subject to other laws other than mine throughout the day. It is our freedom, as a statement of freedom, if you will, from all danger and all tyranny. It is our acknowledgement that God is our Father and that his Son is saved. It's done. Thank you. I love that ending.
Thank you for reading, Bill. Do you have anything you'd like to say about those paragraphs that you just read?
Yes, no, as usual, after reading, I'm so into it. I have nothing at this point, but I'm sure it will come to me. Thank you so much. I love it. That's
Yeah.
right.
Thank you. Thank you. And you're welcome to, whenever anything comes to you, pop in. But I loved what you said as you were leading into it, even. You were like, here's something I kind of hope for here, but also, you know what? I'll trust that Holy Spirit's got it. So if we find
That's
ourselves moving into lesson 77, there must be some way that that's going to be good and helpful for you. But yeah, we'll see. We'll let the
No,
Spirit take it.
I heard that as I was saying it. It was kind of like, I love it.
It was perfect. I smiled real big when you said that.
So,
All right. Well, we can open to discussion for anyone who'd like to. And Andrew has his hand raised. Go ahead, Andrew.
Thank you. Yeah, the very first sentence about how God opens his channel to us to let his will extend through us to him. It's like a circle. He extends his will to us, and it extends back through us to him. I think that's referring to how God creates, how God created us, and how we are meant to also create through extension. And it's something that we're unable to truly conceive right now in this world, but that's what it's talking about there. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. I love that point. You said it so beautifully. And I love just like the way you said it's a circle, like it loops back around, comes back around on itself. And how you said that we can't fully understand it here, but this is what we could say about it and what we could understand here. And that is beautiful. It makes me think about I think I've mentioned before that Johan and I have been doing a study series through the Song of Prayer in the Let's Discuss Facebook group. And it talks about in Song of Prayer how prayer, when it's really been returned to its true form, is just a song that is sung between Creator and his creation, between the Father and the Son. And it's like that kind of giving thanks, giving gratitude, love, back and forth, back and forth. And yeah, it doesn't make sense to us in the ego's realm, under the ego's laws, because it doesn't work that way in that world. But it's something that is really very important to the what we're being taught about the course. So I appreciate you pointing that out first thing for us. And we did talk a little bit about that last time as well when Manu was facilitating. Actually, I had said something that caused him to remember a line from the text that I then found for us. And so we had talked a little bit about that at the end of last week as well. If anyone wants to listen to that recording again, that was what that was all about. And now I see Megan's hand is raised. Go ahead, Megan.
So this is just a little story, and it reminds me of the coursework we've been doing. So I've had a headache for a while, and I decided to take a bath. So I guess Sunday morning, and in the bathtub, I thought I'm going to meditate and send out love and accept love. And so I kept thinking of people, and I was sending them fatherly love, motherly love, just embracing that. And I got to one of my sisters, and all of a sudden, I was just called to send her tons of love. I was going through the body saying, I'm hugging you as a motherly love, fatherly love. Then I was saying, I'm healing this anyway. So I started from my head, and then Spirit kept telling me, do more, do more, do more. And then one day I talked to my mother, and she said, oh yeah, your sister's been so sick. And I thought, oh my goodness, I judged myself first to say, why am I spending so much time on my sister when I was just going nicely through all the people I knew to send them love. And then I got really intensely motivated to my sister, and I thought, okay, well, just don't judge it, just keep doing it. So then I found out she was really sick, and then I told her what happened. She said, oh my goodness. She goes, I think I was probably meditating at the same time you were doing it. So she was actually feeling everything I was sending. So I thought it was so wonderful. I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew that I knew the intention was there. And I knew in the course it says, what you teach and what you give, you get. And I thought, if I feel awful, 10 to 1, everybody else that I'm praying for feels awful as well. But the idea of my sending and accepting seems to be our lesson. So thanks, everybody.
Oh, yes. I love that. You got a lot of hearts as you were telling that story. So a lot of people really connected with that. While I was listening to you, I just kept hearing like to give and to give and to receive, right? They're one in truth. And what was really beautiful about that story too, I thought as I was listening, is just your trust of like, I don't know why I'm focusing on this person, but okay, I don't know, just go with it, just let it happen. And then you got to have that kind of confirmation that there was something there. So thank you for sharing that with us. That was a nice demonstration, something very practical. Anyone else have anything they would like to share, ask, comment on from these two paragraphs from really all of lesson 76? Yes, Nanette.
Hey family, good to be here. Good to be here. I hope my internet doesn't go out. It's a little wonky today, so hopefully it'll be fine. But just as it was already shared about that, that let us today open God's channels. There is a communication happening there. It's also affirming no separation. No separation. There's no separation here. Absorbed. We are in this one mind. Although it appears there's separate bodies, that's the illusion. There's the one mind. And we're absorbed in this infinite love. It's a constant outpouring. And then it says, thus, right after that, will extend through us to him. It's as if the lovership with the divine is this. It is a circle dance. It's just, or a spiral dance even too. Thus is creation endlessly increased. So it's almost as if it's beyond time, infinity, really. It just, I don't know, it's just remind infinity. Never beginning, never ending. And his voice will speak of this to us, as well as of the joys of heaven, which his laws kept limitless, expansive. And for some reason, I'm thinking of that that one line in the course. It says, peace is the condition of the kingdom. Peace is the condition, that peace that surpasses all human understanding. So this whole lesson is I'm under no laws but God. And as we were doing that meditation, that resting in the stillness, resting in that love, that's the place for me of divine inspiration happening through. But there's real no mental activity with that. They're just, this is the caboose. Really, this is just, on a cosmic alone, so to speak, appearing here. And the real truth is the one mind, love. So thank you for letting me share. I missed you all last week. I was on travel, but I missed you all. I listened to the recording. This is awesome.
Oh, well, thank you, Nanette, for that share. It was very lovely listening to you go through that. And I'm so glad you get to the recordings there. It's so nice that you could join with us in that way if you weren't here live last time. Yes, I like how you talked about like the infinite nature of it. I'm going to share a screen again here. Just those lines that you were highlighting, starting right with the first one that Andrew had mentioned, but going into the second and then third, there is this mention of creation being endlessly increased, and the joys of heaven, which his laws keep limitless forever. Right? We really see like the mention of timelessness. Again, something that's very much outside of the laws that we seem to be operating under as we think that we are in the dream. And yes, it's upon us to open that channel back up. Like, let us today open that channel back up, because it's only through our own sense of having been able to close it that it seems to be closed. So I like how you connected that as well to the meditation that we did together in the beginning, just really being in that stillness. That is the space that we're talking about. And that is where inspiration comes. That's the altar that I've seen some people discussing in the Facebook group recently as well. So thank you again for that. Welcome to Uma, who's joined since we've been talking. And does anyone else have anything they would like to say in regards to this lesson? All right, Bill. Well, the Spirit's moving us on to 77. So we're gonna. Oh, wait, you got your hand raised. Do you want to say something first?
A little bit, yeah, I have to touch on this. So I had to bring it up, and I'm looking at it and looking at number 12. It's like, yeah, 4 to 5 times an hour is what they're asking us to do. And I am so hopeful that there are many of us here that are going to do this too, every day this week, in addition to what we learn in the next lesson. So every hour we're going to this, every 10 minutes, 5 times an hour. We are completely always, it's not wanting us to concentrate on the life that we think it's asking us to do. It's not wanting us to do that. It's wanting us to concentrate on this all the time. Okay. And I'm sure I'll still be able to get my engineering and my foundations and my things designed and my jobs out, because I've got a lot of people are expecting to build. I will serve them and I will get them on time. But I didn't think I could if I didn't focus like I do. But this is asking me to do something different, 5 times an hour. Okay, so I've been trying that because the other lessons with the other one was 4 times an hour, 15 minutes, do this. And I'm still doing that. But like, I mean, I maybe get it once every 2-3 hours, maybe 2 times in an hour. I'll go, oh my will, I'll do it. But so yeah, I hope that we're gonna work on this 12 and come back and see what we learn from this, because we can actually see here. It's asking us to see in this lesson, and it's saying it's not easy. You got to keep on stopping your ego mind from all the doing the winding, You got it, you can do it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this and trying it, and to hearing about anyone else who got the chance to allow their minds to make them do it too. Even if you've done the lesson 10 times already, how many people have went through all the lessons over and over? But really, I think if we just stay on this lesson and keep on doing it till we get it, this is the end right here. Done.
Thank you.
That came out of me when I finished reading it. Done. This is it. Yes, it's so
Oh,
fun. So happy to be with you all. Bless Rick.
thank
Okay.
you, Bill. It's such a joy to have you with us as well. And yeah, I love what you're putting out here. So I brought it back up again just so we could be very intentional together, and anyone that would like to join with you in this. And I agree with you in the sense that really I think a lot of folks will say this. You could pick any single lesson, and if you really are going to take it quite seriously, like that's all you need. It really is. So yes, you can do it with this one. You could do it with any of them. But Bill's calling out, is anyone feel inclined to do this as well? At least 4 or 5 times an hour. So the thing that's being repeated is this statement, I am under no laws but God's. The instructions for this one is suggesting that it would be helpful to repeat this just 4 or 5 times an hour, unprompted outside of what seems to be coming into our awareness. In addition to also as well as in response to any temptation to experience ourselves as subject to other laws throughout the day. So it's okay if we are catching the temptation and noticing that, oh, I think I'm under some other law. Oh, I think that I'm under the laws of physics or under the laws of medicine, whatever it might be. But just being able to let those moments lead you into another repetition, basically another reminder of this statement. So, yeah, Bill, it's 4 or 5 times an hour, kind of like at the minimum. And then I assume, I know for me, I have many temptations, many opportunities on top of that throughout any given day where I could be applying it as well. So, I join you in the sense that I have something that I'm trying to put my focus onto every single day. And whether it's this lesson or specific or not, I join you still in that intention.
For sure, I knew that. I knew you must, Maggie. That's so awesome. I know that I've already jumped ahead in time because like we're preparing, you're preparing, it's coming back and forth. We're gonna do this. I already went in the future, and it's like I know what I'm gonna be doing the other 10 minutes that I'm not asking the saying, I am under no laws but God's. The next 14 or 9 minutes, I'm gonna be thinking, well, what are the God's laws? Exactly. I'm going to have to get this straight in my head. What do I mean by I'm under no laws but God's? What does that mean? I think we should have a little bit of a discussion. That should spark some answers. I am under no laws but God's. What is your mind going to say back to you? Let me ask myself that. I'm asking myself that now. Love comes to mind. It has to be love-based. It has to be resentless based thinking. These are God's laws. God's laws is unconditional, instantaneous forgiveness. So that's God's laws. I don't know if I would take it any further. What else does that mean? And then also something else, Maggie, that you said earlier to do with living in, and I was surprised it said that, to live in and in a sinless way. That was something you said earlier. I don't know if it was in the numbers of these ones.
No, it was at the end of what I read during our opening meditation. I read from the section in the text, chapter 18, section 7 is titled, I Need Do Nothing. And I read 2 paragraphs from that section that I enjoy. And at the end of that section, it says, for from this center, the quiet center, will you be directed how to use the body sinlessly. Yeah,
And
go ahead.
those words changed inside my head when that said sinlessly. It said, when you use your body to fulfill the will of God. Because as soon as sinlessly came up, that's nothing. There isn't no sin. The sin is nothing. It's, you know, that we're living in the body. How do we do it sinlessly? Well, that's another, you know, that's what comes up. Right?
Yeah, I love it. I love
We're in
your
a
share.
sinning body.
I
A
love
sin-
your share. I think one thing as I listen to you, I'm remembering something Nanette said about this being the caboose. And it's like you can practice letting go of any of the sense of there's something for you to figure out about this. You know, it's like that section that I read from. I love that I need do nothing section, not because I'm saying that I, as Maggie Fitzsimmons, lay on the floor all day and literally do nothing, right? Because no, I'm here facilitating a meeting. I'm talking to you all right now. I work, I have all sorts of things I take care of in my home, of course. But I enjoy this section because it reminds us that there's this space within us, that that's the source. That's the source of inspiration. That's the source of how to use the body sinlessly, right? This is something that we don't have to try to figure out. We don't have to analyze. We don't need to assess. It is something that we can be led through. And so, whether you take it from that section of the text that I read at the beginning for a meditation, or you take it from the lesson that we're in right now, either way, you'll notice more and more, probably now that I'm pointing it out to you, Bill, like there's emphasis over and over on how there's nothing for us to figure out. There's only something for us to choose again, and that is the teacher who's going to just really show us, lead us. So that's maybe something I just, as I'm listening to you, I don't know if that speaks to you, but you can loop that into your practice as well.
Mhm. So now let's leave it to the, I am under no laws but God's. What does that to you? When you say that in your mind, what do you think back?
When I say to myself, I'm under no laws but God's, what do I think back?
And I'm asking the group.
Okay, yeah, I'll respond. And there's a couple hands too. We've got a couple people that already raised their hands before you posed that question. So what I'll do is I'll check with both of you and see if you'd like to respond to that. And then you can still leave your hands up so that you can say whatever the other thing is you wanted to say after. But you know, for me, Bill, when I hear you say that, I don't know if this will be helpful or meaningful at all, but I think about how typically it's like the ego speaks first. It has a lot to say. And then it's like when we're willing, there's then the response from spirit, which is like really the correction of whatever the ego is saying. And so when I get myself to the correction, which is to say I'm under no laws but God's, I don't really sense myself saying something back to myself at that point, unless I'm having a really big ego beat backlash moment. And sometimes it's like, no, I don't agree. But no, I think for me that those kinds of statements, these things that we're asked to repeat as part of our practice, they typically are the right-minded response, the right-minded correction to the jabberings of the ego. And for me personally, they have kind of a quieting effect. So it's like when I can remember to say, oh, I'm under no laws but God's, I don't think, okay, what does that mean? And what do I have to do with it? It's just like, oh, right, that's right. It reminds me of what I was just saying a moment ago, which is that I don't have to figure anything out. And all this stuff that I think is happening to me is actually for me if I look at it with spirit. So that's my response to your question. But I hear your
Right.
question. And yeah, let's see if anyone else would like to respond to that as well. I'm getting some messages in the chat too. So I do see someone would like to share from the chat. It looks like we'll make sure we get to that too. Rich, your hand is raised first. Would you like to respond to Bill, or would you like to just wait for us to be past this part of the communication?
I'll as far as what does the laws of God mean to me, I mean, I can easily include that. I mean, that's what we're summing up here, lesson 76, I suppose, in a sense. So I just wanted to jump in on the lesson. Just that I mean, you know, I am under no laws but God, so this is true. God's laws are peace, joy, goodness, love, care, consideration, strength, tenderness, joy, etc., etc. That's what God's laws always are in every moment, thought, word, and action. Anything that's not that thought, word, and action is not God's will or the laws of God. I'm just looking at different things and you know, listening to what was said and all, and I like the idea in here about, from about maybe paragraph 7 on here, I got a sentence. The laws of God can never be replaced. So this book talks a lot about, there is nothing but the will of God in terms of goodness, love, care, physically, mentally, emotionally, in every sense. There is nothing else. So that's great. That's good to know because, and it says it again, like in 9:5, nothing is replaced by something else. In other words, the ego's ways of doubt, fear, remorse, anxiety, guilt, et cetera, any negative emotion can never be our true being, can never be our real state of mind and emotion. Never, like never, as in never. And that's good to know. Book talks about living in this state of mind, this God consciousness, this this God consciousness type of living, God mind type of living, is easy. It's as easy as breathing if we just truly live it. Our ideas in the book to me. So and for me, I see here 10:6. There's a lot of great sentences in every paragraph in ACIM, but 10:6, God's yearning for his only son. So, for me, the personal first person of the Trinity, his love for every child that he has, which is certainly every human, every angel, but just every being. I mean, is God's child, created by God. And he yearns for us to live our will. So why? So that we'll be happy. Live his will so that we'll be happy. That's the idea in plenty of places in ACIM to me. I heard something about the peace of God that passes understanding. So I wanted to look that up, because that's important. I mean, I heard passing human understanding, passing understanding, and, passing our understanding. It says there in the book, the ego mind values wrongly. And so if I, you or anyone endows all thoughts with equal power, that will destroy peace. So it's not about, endowing all thoughts with equal power. It's about endowing only the God thoughts of what real peace, love, goodness, joy, strength are, endowing those with power, and then not even having opposing thoughts. I mean, the real goal, like it says in the manual, like nothing you say contradicts what you think or do, like literally, like no thought opposes any other thought in terms of choices that we make, like literal, like this is the real goal. There's also a sentence in the book about, and the holy instant is not that you won't have any impure thoughts. It's just that you would have none that you would hold. So if an impure thought comes along, which would tie in here to paragraph 12, when it's talking about 12:1, as well as in response to any temptation to experience ourselves as, so any impure thought, anything that could bring us guilt, doubt, shame, remorse, anxiety, et cetera, any thought leading to any action that could do that is temptation. And I can, it's possible to not have any temptation is the idea and the truth. So yeah, I mean, and then living in the phenomenal will of God, which passes understanding, is such a great place to be. So the book says, the peace of God is here it is, and you can understand it now. God loves his son forever, and his son returns his father's love forever. I mean, love, I like the basic definition of love: intense feeling of deep affection. That's what I should be feeling for everyone at all times, no matter where I am, no matter what I'm doing. Intense feeling of deep affection with kindness, generousness, all of it, fondness, liking, courtesy, goodwill. That's how we're really supposed to be every moment to moment, with everyone at all times. So, and then the very last sentence of the lesson here, it's our acknowledgement that God is our Father. His son is saved. So what does saved mean to me? I mean, one idea about it is zero ego mind, no ego mind whatsoever, nothing but powerful, Jesus-like peace and joy in terms of our thoughts and actions.
Thank you, Rich. tying together many different ideas about what was being discussed in this meeting. So thank you for that. And I know Megan is next, and just Uma, I've been notified that you were trying to raise your hand. So I'm going to come to you right after Megan as well. Go ahead, Megan.
For me, the question was from Bill about what does "I am under no laws but God's" mean, and so I wanted to answer that with a dog. Hold on. So I realized that, what is it? These little laws you give yourself, like I lay in the bed this way, not that way, or I do this before that, I eat supper and then I eat dessert, or anyway. So not feeling well, I realized I was being unkind to myself in some of the most despicable little niggly ways, which was I wanted to lay the opposite way in the bed because the heat lamp was going to hit me a certain way and that was going to help me. And so I had to keep remembering there's no reason to not do this. There is no law. There's no right or wrong. I don't know what anything is for, and God really does want me to feel good. So any effort of mine in that direction, any kindness given to myself by me, any lack of judgment over how I deal with how I feel, is exactly the law of God, which is take care of yourself. So I kept reminding myself, don't judge it, just do it. Don't judge it, just do it. Keep taking care of yourself in whatever form that makes. If you have to hang upside down, if you have to take a bath, if you have to go outside, or if you have to get warm or get cold, or put things on or take things off, whatever you have to do, even if it makes no sense to anybody, it is exactly what you need to do because you're called to do it, and it's going to make you feel better. And in that way, I feel like I'm doing the most loving service to myself, which is God's will. Thanks.
Thank you, Megan. Very lovely to listen to that as well. And lots of hearts in response to what you were sharing there. When you started your share, just mentioning about all the little laws that we might hold ourselves under, even just like which way you lay in the bed, I couldn't help but my mind is ready for me to travel tomorrow. We see that Marguerite, Sharon, and Johanna are all in the same place physically right now. And tomorrow I travel to be there physically with them as well. And it's like, oh my gosh, all the little laws that I think I am under as I consider going to the airport, getting on the plane, just making it somewhere physically. It is definitely very relatable what you were just sharing. So I really appreciated that from you just now. That's a big intention I have for myself with this trip. Now, Uma, is am I pronouncing your name correctly? I got notified that you were trying to raise your physical hand, I think. Would you like to share?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
When Bill was talking about doing the assignment according to how it's assigned. The one time I did that was in 1982. I was actually TSPing someone's house so she could paint it inside the kitchen. And every hour for 5 minutes, I stopped. Now, generally, I wake up chanting, "Thank God I am one with Christ." And we're on lesson 100. It's the 100th day of the year. And I've been looking at these and they say, 20 minutes in the morning or evening, every 10 minutes, every 5 minutes, every hour. And I don't have a timer thing. And I just, I usually show up on time, but I've just never been, but every minutes to hour and a half for years, every day I will think something. And sometimes I'm just chanting the names of the lessons because there's a holographic, one big, beautiful truth. And just to segue to the way I generally use I am under no laws but God's is when I have an appearance of a pain or a disease or a difficulty. And I had one the other day for a number of weeks. It was quite surprising. And I finally got tired and said, I'm done with this pain. a series of pain I had never had. And I've been around here close to 7 decades. And I just hammered it with, I'm the son of God, and God's son has no pain. This, I just, as, what do they say in the Christian Science? I just rebuked the heck out of it and it went away. Thank you.
Wicked. Thank you. Thank
Thank you for being with us, and thank you for that share. Yeah, Bill, do you wish to respond? You've gotten several responses at this point.
Yeah. I just I thank you all very much. All of those are excellent ideas. I'm going to use them all. I'm going to go back and I'm going to review this like as soon as it's posted. I'm glad we're getting them posted early too now. So as soon as it's posted, I'm going to go back and thank you all so much. I understand Maggie most for the getting me to not want to figure it out. Don't figure it out. You know that God's wills are just and they're perfect. And you can't understand them because you're just a man. So that's all you know, and that's all you got to know. And just keep on saying that. And then don't wonder what his laws are. You know that he's working through you. So thank you. I'm going to use them all.
Your kitty is going to help.
Yeah, for sure. He's backing us 100% every minute. Cats are.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Bill, for the willingness that you're expressing here, right? Because it's one mind shared, and as you do this really for us all. And I thank you for posing the question and giving us something to talk about as well, because it's been very helpful for me personally. I assume for others as well.
This will become one of those ones that people go back to. It's like, go back to this day. Check this one.
Thank goodness for the recordings.
Right.
Now, we do have a couple more hands, and I see the time, so I like to make sure that both Andrew and Johanna get a chance to share. But Andrew, you're next. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll be quick. I don't even know if this is a good idea, but that I am under no law but God's. That's short enough to be used as a mantra, which is something you just repeat over and over again when you're not focused on something or you need to concentrate on what you're doing. If you're on your exercise machine or treadmill or something, you could do that as a mantra. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. Thank you.
I like it, Andrew, and I think I'm quite sure I've said this before in this group, but I'll say it again. Like, whatever gets you to the experience being choosing again and bringing everything to the Holy Spirit. So mantras work as long as they bring you to that experience, right? So like, go for it if it works for you. I think that we all have our own little individualized curriculums, right? But I love you offering it as a, hey, try this if it works for you. And maybe it's not the best thing for everybody, but I'm sure that there are some that find it helpful. I know I personally have found it helpful at various times to have different mantras or different things that I repeat to myself. So thank you for that. And then Johanna, you're up.
Hi there. I appreciate the conversation. Thank you all for your contributions. I'm staying without video because our internet connection is a bit challenged. Anyway, what came to mind regarding I am under no laws of God than God's is even though we don't know exactly what they are, words they can't really help us to pin it down. And like you said, we're not supposed to, I suppose, to pin it down because the course is a course in an experience. And so how do we experience being under the laws of God instead of under the laws the world has made? And that is the atonement, because there the course is really very specific. The only responsibility we have is to accept the atonement for ourselves. And that's what will give us the experience of being under the laws of God. And so I thought I'd mention that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Johanna, for mentioning that. Your audio chopped just a little bit, but I think it was still something that could be understood, and there's some hearts, so I believe people heard that and understood that as well.
I have one sentence.
Yes, please go ahead.
Well, you know, when your good friend like completely goes in their ego and does something really mean, you know, you overlook it. Well, guess what? When you go into your ego and do something really mean, you can forgive yourself too.
Thank you. Thank you for adding that in. And at this point now, I think we've come just about to the top of the hour, and so we're gonna end today without moving into the next lesson. So that is what ended up happening for us there. Next time we can pick up, we'll start off at the top of lesson 77. That'll be our starting point for next week. And for those that have a few minutes and would like to stick around for a prayer, you're welcome to stick around for prayer. If you feel comfortable to, I encourage you to, again, sit back in your seat, get comfortable, close your eyes, take some slow breaths. If you'd like to think of how we began talking about the quiet center, you might recall that even as you were going about your busy doings and discussing with your brothers and sisters, that quiet center was still there. So you can return to it right now. And from this place, to close us today, I would like to read one of my favorite prayers from the whole course, and it comes from Workbook Lesson 189. And here's how it goes. Father, we do not know the way to you, but we have called, and you have answered us. We will not interfere. Salvation's ways are not our own, for they belong to you. And it is unto you we look for them. Our hands are open to receive your gifts. We have no thoughts we think apart from you, and cherish no beliefs of what we are or who created us. Yours is the way that we would find and follow. And we ask but that your will, which is our own as well, be done in us and in the world, that it become a part of heaven now. Amen.